Hello. Today we're going to talk about Scamper. Scamper is another framework that we can use in order to better understand the customer journey, but also is going to provide us new insights into what needs to be done or what can be done in order to enhance the customer experience. Remember that the goal of a business is to maximize profit now and in the future, ensuring the well being for all stakeholders. The way we maximize profit is by doing two things. One, we must increase the willingness to pay for our product or service, and or we must decrease costs. So in a scamper, when we use a scamper, we can identify ways of increasing the willingness to pay and decreasing cost when we produce that product or service. Scamper was developed in the 70s, even though the original idea comes from Alex Osborne. And even though it was developed a while ago, now it's having a second wind coming back because it's a very useful way of sparking creativity and therefore innovation. As it is common in these frameworks, Scamper is an acronym. And it stands for substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put to another use, eliminate, and rearrange. You might see something similar to this if you have already encountered the blue ocean theory. Okay? Scamper is a little bit more robust in the sense that it guides you a little bit better than the basics of the blue ocean theory, but it stems from the same. It means taking a look at our product or service and the whole customer experience and understand what can we do in order to increase the willingness to pay, and what can we do to reduce the cost of producing. The first one is substitute. What can I substitute or change in my product in order to increase the willingness to pay? Okay, can I substitute the place, time, materials, and people? For example, if you're taking this class through Zoom, that is substituting face to face. Can I substitute one part for another? Replace someone involved, change the rules, change the name, change the process or the ingredients. You're going to see that throughout this Scamper framework, some things might fall into substitute and you might not be sure if that's really modify or is it combined. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be clean cut. This is just a framework to guide you through the thinking process. So for example, if we have these three very different customer experiences, what can we substitute? For example, if it's tech, would substitute those blinds on the window for actually natural light. Would that help? Would that improve the customer experience? In the case of an IWOC, should we substitute the chairs and the tables for more mobile desks and chairs? That would be substituting. The second one is combine. How can I combine two or more parts of my product or service to achieve a different product? Okay. An example of combination is what would happen if I combine Netflix with higher education? What would it look like if you have something like Netflix but with your tech courses? What would that be? What can I combine here? Okay, for example, with Netflix, with Spotify, how can I combine industries? How can I combine work with education? Here we have to get very creative. Think of outside of your current industry and understand what else can you bring on. There is another exercise for this called mashup. Adapt. What can I adapt in my product? Are there parts that I can change? Can I change the composition? Do I have to copy from other products or industries? Can I adapt the process? In adaptation, for example, here, it will be interesting to include new technology, or how can I adapt the need for new technology of my students into the classrooms? For example, something that needs to be done in all of these classrooms is including mobile electric outlets because you need the battery of the computer running of your phone, and you don't have to be attached to the wall in order to do that. So that would be something that we can improve in all of these three different experiences. Modify my product. Can I modify the size of the product? Make it larger or smaller? Can I delete something? Can I modify the color or size, the speed, extras, or make it lighter? Okay. What can I modify here? So thinking about online classes, for example, would it be possible for us to modify the size of the class, make it larger or smaller? Instead of 30 people, what if we have classes that are smaller, shorter but smaller? Let's say 10 people, 12. What if we have longer classes with a larger audience? Instead of 35, what if we have 60? Okay. What else can we do? What else can we modify in this layout to enhance the learning experience or to reduce cost? To enhance the learning experience, perhaps we could reduce the class size. To reduce cost, perhaps we could increase the size of the class. Put to another use. What other uses does my product may have? Here we have to think about new clients. So if our current segment, for example, for this, are young adults, what can we do? For example, very early in the morning or very late at night when there are no classes or we have available rooms in order to include a new audience. What is this new audience? Well, it could be executive education, which tech already uses, right? Companies like Coke, Danone, Roche, any other company that would like to have their employees trained. Okay, that's another use for the classroom. Is it possible that we, on the weekends when there are no classes, can we open it to an older audience, third age? A university for the third age. Can we do that? Or perhaps for a younger audience, kids, little kids. Can we teach entrepreneurship to kindergarten kids? What else can we do in order to increase the willingness to pay and reduce costs? E is eliminate. What can I eliminate from the product? And this might be counterintuitive because most of the time we're thinking, what can I add? What else can I add to my product or service? But sometimes you have to think in reverse innovation and is how can I make this product so simple that anybody can use it? How can I make this product so simple that it's so cheap? How can I do to make it so simple that somebody that is not my user right now is actually willing to use it? Okay. Eliminate helps to include a new target segment or to reduce cost. Is there something here that I can eliminate, for example? Something that adds cost but is not adding value. This is very tricky. And in order for you to eliminate that, you better understand very well the customer experience. You do not want to eliminate something that is actually increasing cost but is giving the customer value. Can I eliminate the professor, for example? Can you eliminate a specific type of professor, one that is too expensive? That kind of thing is risky. So be careful about this. But do not rule it out. And finally, rearrange. How can I rearrange the product, the service? Can I interchange the components, the layout, the pace, the schedule, or the order of events? How can I rearrange this? Well, in the tech example, it's very obvious the way they rearrange the classroom. The classroom no longer has like a front and a back. Everything is the classroom all around. Sometimes you have screens all around you, you have the whiteboards, you can move around. In other schools, the rearranging can happen, like in Ibero, right? You have mobile chairs. You see that there are whiteboards on the back, so it's a little bit more mobile. The rearrangement in and out must happen in some other way because it's a little bit harder to move the chair. But it's possible, and it's something that we have to consider. Should we rearrange? Is this going to increase the willingness to pay or not? If something is not going to increase the willingness to pay and it is going to increase cost, then you should not do it. Both things must go hand in hand. Very important, increase willingness to pay. And how do we put this into words? Well, you can use this Scamper template or something similar in which you include of this product or service, this is what I would like to substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put to another use, eliminate, and reverse. Rearrange. You don't have to include one for everyone. You can include two for substitute, none for adapt. It's just a framework to help you in the thinking process on how to improve the willingness to pay for your product and reduce costs. Thank you.